Empowering our communities with one conversation at a time. This is B.M.B. Radio. Tell it like it is on zradiolive.com.
Welcome to the show, y'all.
You're not recording.
No, I am recording. I hit the record button.
I don't see the record. I don't see it.
You see it, Mildred? It says recording.
Yeah, I see it.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna post that. I ain't taking that now.
Okay.
But yeah, so I am recording. Welcome again. This is B to the M to the doggone B. We are back again, y'all, with another show for y'all. We got a good one this week as well, kind of like last week. Once again, I got my man Meldrick here at the bottom, aka Mel-Bone, in the house.
What's happening?
Mine.
Also got my man Bam over here, aka Bam. His name is Brent. He is with us as well. Got the B.M.B in the back there. What's up, Brent?
Hey y'all, what's going on? You mind?
You got me today narrating.
Brax. It's not Braxton. It's Braxton.
Yeah.
Or as some of his family members call him, Brax, aka Brack Emo.
I've never heard that.
The only person can call me that's my family, or Amber.
I've never heard that.
AKA Brack Emo. You haven't heard that? Don't.
Bracky, no, I have not heard that.
Yeah, time to forget it. Go ahead and forget it.
Nope. Forever remember.
Oh man, when you get around my
just
family,
think, Braxton, all our millions of listeners just heard that.
They did.
God.
They did. Y'all, yes. Everybody forget it. Just forget that name. Forget y'all ever heard it. But yeah, we got a good show for y'all, man. We're gonna get into some things that we may have even talked about last week, but there's a little bit more that we're gonna get into this week. Sports with Meldrick. He's got a lot that he's going to talk about and some good things that have happened and also some crazy thing that's going on in sports as well this week. We also have, Trump impeachment that's been going on. There was a major car accident on I-35 there here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area that we're going to talk a little bit about as well. How also Black Americans are taking vaccinations at a lower rate. A couple more items that we're going to talk about is kind of the state of the African American and just, how we're messing up the flow. As some people may see it, and so Brent has a whole take on that. I believe you guys are really going to enjoy that segment when we get to it. And then,
well, put it like this, my mind got stuck on a few things and I'm going to need y'all help to kind of explain it some more, just to get some more good Black perspective on it. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, good. So we're going to get into that. And then last thing, we have a tribute to Mrs. Mary Wilson, who is one of the founders of the Supreme. So we're sad to bring that news to you, but we wanted to just honor her at the end of the show. And so we'll talk about her as well.
Can y'all believe almost every week we've come on here giving a tribute?
Yeah, it's something. Even I heard Dr. Fred Price.
Yes, he just died. Yes,
passed away, and so we may have to even do something. Just a little something on him maybe next week. But yeah, that's he's definitely a major person in the body of Christ.
He was a general, one of our fathers in the faith.
Yeah, passed away. So we'll definitely be talking about that probably in the coming weeks. So you guys be ready for that. But yeah, man, let's go ahead and get started. Mel-Bone, what's up, man? What's up with sports today? What's going on?
Well, as we talked about last week was the big game, the Super Bowl. I think all three of us had some thoughts about it, and I think all three of us are kind of disappointed in the results.
Can I just go on the record and say, Mildred, we haven't been right about anything. I don't think we predicted.
we haven't. Have we not got nothing right?
The college playoffs, the college championship, we didn't get right.
Yeah, we did.
And then some other games I can't remember, but we just haven't.
We didn't pick Alabama.
No, we were all rooting for Ohio State.
That's true. Yeah.
Maybe we'll have better luck in next season.
Well,
maybe in the NBA we'll have better luck. Go with LeBron.
Right. Maybe that's why we ain't working for ESPN, because we can't get nothing right.
Oh man, they can't get nothing right either. They always picking stuff wrong. So Well, as everybody has kind of seen, we have come to report to you. Well, I'm sure you know that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers came out victorious against the Kansas City Chiefs, 31-9. The score kind of seems lopsided, uh, and it kind of was, but I I think of it like this. I think, and I don't want to place no blame on or not blame, but I don't want to make an excuse. I mean, because Kansas City's were without a few people on their offensive line, and then that gave Tampa Bay's defense a chance to get back there in the backfield and mess up everything because they defense. That's really what happened. I know because I know we talked about it, saying that whichever defense steps up was going to be the team to win, and lo and behold, Tampa Bay's defense stepped up big time. I think this was the first time all season long that Kansas City was held without a touchdown. They had to settle for 3 field goals, to score their points. I think I'm not sure how true this stat is, but I saw a stat on somebody brought a stat up on ESPN earlier this week where they said Mahomes ran around, him trying to escape the pass rush. They said he ran for like over 500 yards, just trying to get away from the pass rush of the defense. So because they was in there on him, and one thing I can say, which brings the talent of Patrick Mahomes to surface, is that I can't see many other people who could get rushed like he got rushed and was still able to make some of the throws he made. Because honestly, his receivers failed him. Like they was dropping passes that hit their hands, passes that hit them in the face. There was one crucial third down where he hit Travis Kelce in the hands with the ball. And he's like running for his life and just threw it and hit him right in the hands and he dropped it and they had to punt. So their Tampa Bay's defense came to play. They had a game plan, and I think they also had a game plan on offense. If you watch their offense, Tom Brady, anytime he got back to pass, he didn't give Kansas City time to get to him. So when he came back, when he dropped back to pass, the ball was out of his hands. I think they said he was averaging 2.5 seconds per throw every time he was dropped back and passed the ball. So that he didn't give him a chance to get to him, and his receivers was getting open. He was hitting the running backs out of the backfield. Their people was catching the ball. So they came to play, and so anytime you're able to disrupt somebody's offense, you're going to have really good results for that. So, what do you guys takes on it? We all watched the same game. I know some of y'all didn't finish watching the game, but that's kind of my take on it. They got in the backfield and they didn't allow them to get started at all.
I was just gonna say, can we give it up to Todd? But what's it, the defensive coordinator for the
Todd Bowles?
Todd Bowles. Can we get him a head coaching job?
Yeah, he probably
he
will
need
get
one.
He was head coach for the Jets for a whole minute.
Yeah, he was.
Right, but
he needs. He's probably gonna get another opportunity now.
Because that leadership that he put in on that Kansas City offense was something terrible. But I'm just like, Kansas City, y'all act like y'all ain't been here before.
And see, the thing was, they earlier in the season they torched them. Right. Tyreek Hill had 209 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns in the first half of the game earlier in the season. So they shut him out. They shut Travis Kelce out, and they made everybody else try to beat him, and they weren't able to do it. And then the fact they didn't give that arm over there of Patrick Mahomes a chance.
Right.
Yeah.
He couldn't get nothing going.
He couldn't. They couldn't really establish the run either.
Nope. They couldn't do that.
Because Tom Brady, they were in and out as well. They were 3 and outs for a whole minute. Then they were able to get the run established, which allowed Tom Brady to drop back as well. And his offensive line, they were blocking for him, pretty well for the most part.
He was pretty clean. I don't think he hit the ground much at all, if at all. He did. I mean, and so man, they came to play.
Yeah, they came to play. They came to play,
right.
But like you said, Kansas City, I don't think it was I think the play calling could have been a little better. I mean, Patrick Mahomes to me should have been getting the ball out a lot quicker, especially during the second half. Them knowing how they were pressuring him, them not able to block, not able to run the ball, knowing that he had, the offense, some of his offensive linemen were out of the game. They should have had a better game plan for him. And then, like you said, some of those throws he had to make, he just ran around entirely too much. Right. And just making too many plays that the receivers were honestly just not able to catch or capitalize on. So
they what they did, they doubled Hill and they doubled Kelsey, and then they left the other guys in one-on-one situations, but those guys weren't able to get open. I mean, they was on. Right. Yeah. So I mean, they even, like I said, and they did change up their offense a little bit. They ran some other plays, they just couldn't get them. They had Tyreek Hill running around in the backfield trying to leak out for a pass, and so I mean, they even had him as a decoy. So I mean, Todd Bowles had a masterful game plan for them. Yeah. So I mean, they were ready, like for real. Yeah. And go ahead. What you about to say?
I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, well, Meldrick, Braxton, Kansas City they don't have to accept the results of the Super Bowl. They can just cry out, "Stop the steal!" Just
like someone else that we know.
Yeah, just like some other folks did. They can just lie. So they looking at it right on TV.
They don't have to accept the results.
They don't have to accept the results. We can go to the NFL commissions, and Roger Goodell, and just be like, we demand a replay.
A replay, yeah.
Yes. Or a recount. We want a whole thing. We want the whole thing start. We want Jasmine Sullivan to sing the national anthem all over again. We want the weekend with that crazy Super Bowl performance. We have that a redo over as well. We just want a redo.
We want to try it again.
We want to try it again. Right. We have that right.
Right. Yeah.
It was rigged.
It was rigged. Yes.
Yeah.
It's rigged.
Yeah.
Well,
it was definitely a good game, though.
It was. And I want to bring this up, and I know I brought it to y'all's attention earlier. Is that Tampa Bay's coaching staff? They have, and I just counted them. They had 12 members of their coaching staff were black. So I mean, 12 members of their coaching staff were black, and the top 4 positions other than head coach were black. So you had Harold Goodwin. He was assistant head coach, and he's assistant head coach and run game coordinator. He was black. Of course, Todd Bowles, defensive coordinator. Byron Leftwich, a former NFL quarterback, offensive coordinator, and Keith Armstrong. He was the special teams coordinator. And some of these other guys y'all will recognize. Antoine Randall, he was the offensive coordinator assistant. He was a receiver in the NFL. Larry Foote was a defensive back. I want to see the defensive back. He was outside linebackers coach. And so, you got Roger Kingdom. He was speed and conditioning coach. I'm probably gonna mess her name up. Her first name was Merrill, and I can't say her last name. It's a strange one. But she was assistant. She was assistant strength and conditioning coach. Yeah. Running backs coach Todd McNair. You had defensive line coach Casey Rogers, and then cornerbacks coach Kevin Ross. All these people are people of color. So that was probably one of the. I didn't know that until I saw it somewhere, and I was like, wow. And they all have Super Bowl rings. And they all have, and a lot of these people are just in their second year in Tampa Bay, So it was something to see and celebrate Black History Month, So what better time to bring it out? And I applaud them for their victory, and I applaud them for them being able to be in the positions that they are in, So because you normally, and I'm saying this on all levels of sports, especially in football, you don't see a whole lot of black coaches
Right.
unless you're in a certain demographic area somewhere. But but if you looking up and down the lines of college and pro teams, you really don't see. You may see them, here and there, but you not 12 members all on one team.
Mhm.
So I
Yeah.
mean that was something to see.
To see.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, and I mean
They-
that made me kind of proud. I was proud of that.
But one thing too, a lot of the pieces, man, they kind of pieced that team together. When Tom Brady got there, when you think about it, Fournette had been let go from the Jags.
Yeah,
They got Dominic Sue.
yeah,
Jason Pierre-Paul was there.
yeah.
And just AB, and
They
AB's
picked
been
him up
around the
off the
league,
street.
picked him
Yeah,
up, and so all these different pieces. Now these guys got Super Bowls just for going to a good situation. Grant came back and
right.
got a ring,
Came
and
out of
so
retirement.
these guys, it's just something good to watch. At the end of the day, we I know I was rooting for the Chiefs. I know we were, and Patrick Mahomes. But at the end of the day, to see these guys get another one, and some of these guys get their first one was good to see.
Right, and some of them and some of them been working hard. I can say AB. He was able to do. He's deserving of one.
Yeah,
Fournette deserving of one, and I mean all those
yeah.
guys.
Fournette, all those guys played. Yeah,
All those guys are deserving of one. So I mean they play. I mean
Mhm.
and the genius of their team and their organization when they got him over there, they was like, okay, so because this wasn't the exact same team that he originally got to.
No,
They picked up a bunch of pieces on the way and made themselves a contender and eventually a champion. So that's good management by their organization. Great management by their organization. So, and speaking of organizations, there's one organization that is just losing everybody. And that would be the city of Houston and the team of the Texans. And I don't know what they got going on down there in
the
Houston.
city Houston leaving.
I mean, I don't know if it's because it flooded a lot down there. I don't know what the problem is. They got great food, and I brought that up to y'all before.
Yes, you did.
They was like, so why do you want to leave Houston? Something must be going on down there.
Something's in the water.
Right.
I don't know I don't know what's going on. They longtime player JJ Watt has asked for a release, and they released him. They say I think he announced something on Twitter that he had met with the owners and that he so he asked for a release, and they went ahead and gave it to him. But and he still wants to play, so he's not getting released to retire or nothing like that. Right. He just wants out, just like the quarterback. So I mean, I think they were more willing to release JJ because they feel like, well, his career is almost over, versus and he's already got his money. His money probably really don't matter that much no more. But Deshaun Watson, that's new money that that's new money that they got, and they just signed him to all that money. So, but he wants out as well, And I mean, I can't blame him. They kept getting rid of everybody that was supposed to help him on offense, So I mean, Houston Texans, what is going on? I don't know what's going on.
Houston Texans, Houston Rockets, the Astros had a scandal. Everybody in Houston just can't get right.
All the Houston team,
they can't get right.
The professional sports of Houston, tripping. I don't know what's going down.
Something in the water.
Yeah. Maybe I ought to hit up Slim Thug and them and see what they know. See what maybe they can tell us something.
Right.
So, but yeah, that was. I don't know.
Houston, and I think too, JJ Watt. He's. I think he got a couple more years to play. He really wants to play for a championship, and I don't think he wants to waste the rest of his career in Houston. I mean, when you pretty much see where the organization is going, and they're not going in the right direction, which makes sense. Right. I'm sure he's going to have about a couple of teams out there that really want him.
Oh yeah, and since he already got his money, he probably ain't going to ask for no whole bunch of money. He just want to win.
Yeah,
he just want to win. So he'll probably sign somewhere for for whatever they willing to give him. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
And this
yeah,
year was the last year of his contract actually, and he was supposed to get
right.
about 17 million, but it wasn't a guaranteed 17. So I'm sure
Right.
Houston was happy to get out of that, and now they
Right,
got probably
right.
some more cap room.
Right,
To go
right.
get somebody. Yeah.
Yeah. Houston, we have a problem. So, and some more news. Some legendary news.
Gonna
Cowboys.
go up 45.
Cowboys longtime wide receiver Drew Pearson has now been announced as one of the nominees for the Hall of Fame. And Brent, what did you have to say about
The
Drew
original 88? You hear me? The original man that caught the Hail Mary from the originator, Roger Starbuck. The originator. And y'all know how much hell Drew Pearson raised last year when he didn't get it. And I'm glad he did.
Camera, he was pissed off.
Mad.
He hit that table like he was trying to break it. Boom. I think didn't he walk out the room? I think he walked out the room. Yeah, he was upset.
And then I said he gonna cry in the car.
He did. He did
He probably. I mean, but he had every. I'm being funny, but he had every right.
He had every right to be.
But it's happened multiple times from what Drew says. They'll keep bringing his name up, but then he never gets the nod,
the nomination.
He never gets the nomination. And so this time it finally happened, which is about time.
Yeah. So
congrats to him.
Yeah, he played 10 seasons in Dallas from 1973 to 1983. Over almost 8,000 yards, 48 touchdowns. So I mean, he was a heck of a player for the Cowboys back in the day.
All right, let's move on. So the next thing, man, we have. I know you were talking about someone who thought they had won the election, but but he really didn't. But he was also being impeached, or there was an impeachment trial going on for this guy, aka Trump, as we know. But the impeachment trial, as my understanding, is over now. I think he's been acquitted. You guys, I know he needed about 67 votes.
They needed 67 votes. All Democrats voted, and I think was it 7 or 9 Republicans voted for him. They were 10 away.
They were 10 away.
All said and done.
10 away from getting 67. So so
even though he's acquitted, doesn't mean he's innocent.
Yeah,
right.
That's just some Republicans did not have no backbone,
right,
to tell the truth and convict this man for what he did. So basically, you remember when that man said, "I can go down Fifth Avenue, shoot somebody, and not lose one vote"? Those Republicans just reassured that for this man.
Yeah, but I think they just reassured that he's going to be running their party for the next up until the next election. Yeah, for how many years he wants to. They just basically giving their party away to a guy who really don't care about it.
But I also remember a certain woman, she's the Speaker of the House, and she said, "I'm not going to have to impeach this man. He's going to impeach himself and criminalize himself." So you remember when he said, "All I need is 11,780 votes. That's all I need." Remember when he said that? Now he found himself in hot water with the DA of Fulton County. So now on top of that, you have the Attorney General, our sister Letitia James, and the DA of Fulton County. Both of those sisters are going to be going after this man. Letitia's going after the Trump organization. The DA of Fulton County is going after this phone call you made to the Secretary of State trying to change the election. It's not over, y'all. It just even though he got acquitted, even though he got acquitted, it's not over. It's not over. Because you can't keep doing as much wrong as he's done and think you're just gonna get away with it. Something's gonna give.
The cover up is gonna slip up.
Yeah, there you go.
and they're gonna get exposed. I like that. The cover up is gonna slip up.
Gonna slip up. I like that.
I like that, Melvin. Cover up gonna slip up. So
cover up gonna slip up.
This man, he's been covering up a lot of things, and now he's slipping. And right now, it looks pretty good for him because he's been acquitted again. But something's gonna come forth, and all these people that are support. I just find it so weird. Every time somebody brings up the Capitol riot, they'll bring up what happened this past summer. Well, what about the Black Lives Matter and happening and rioting and burning down cities? Well,
Yeah.
we
Never mind.
go ahead,
I'll be
Mel.
quiet.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Mel. I want you. You look like you had something. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah.
There's two totally different things going on here. You have we had a reason and a purpose to our protest. Y'all, the insurrection, y'all was just throwing fits because y'all's man didn't make it into office.
Believe the lie.
Right. You know what I'm saying? That's what y'all was mad about. We were upset about the constant killing and slaughter of unarmed Black people in this country. And like I said, we had a purpose, we had a reason to why we were protesting. And we weren't the ones that was doing the burning and looting. It was other people, you know what I'm saying? Some of the same insurrectionists, you know, so so I mean, that's what I'm saying. People they want to bring that up, but it doesn't work in that situation. You can't compare the two because they're not similar at all. You know, you have some people throwing a fit versus people protesting for a reason and a purpose. You know, we had a specific thing we had going on. You know, we were trying to prove a point. You know, get a point across. You know, so versus where y'all was just wanting to tear up stuff because y'all was throwing a fit because y'all's person didn't make it into office.
And 93%, the FBI even came out and said 93% of the Black Lives Matter protest was peaceful. Right. Now the FBI got over 300 of y'all folks in this insurrection.
Right.
Because y'all dumb selves on camera.
Yeah, you can see it. You can tell. I mean, and kind of like y'all was saying, one protest is about privilege, one is about purpose, right? And so, I mean, it's obvious. Black Lives Matter wasn't protesting to go out here and kill somebody or murder somebody. We were protesting Black lives being murdered, you know, wrongfully by cops. And so it's two different scenarios. You really can't compare the two. And people who try to, it just don't make sense. This past Thursday, there was a bad accident on I-35.
Yes.
Car accident. It was about 130 cars pile up here on I-35. 6 people dead just from reporting. And so, as you guys know, the weather's changed here in Texas over the last about like week or so. And so there's, you know, it's been in the low 30s or high
freezing conditions.
Freezing conditions.
I want to say, but before it iced, it was already down in like the mid 40s,
right?
And then the temperature just kept dropping, and then on top of that, it started to rain.
Yeah, and
I knew that, and then and when I saw it starting to sleep, I was like, oh yeah, it's gonna be real bad,
right?
And so man, I don't know, I don't know if I sent y'all the video or not, but I saw a video of the wreck.
On Facebook,
somebody was filming it.
Oh my!
I was like, man, you know what it made me think of is like, you know, if you having if you in the backyard and you having a barbecue or whatever, you got a little outside event going on, and you have a bug zapper, and they just keep going into the bug zapper. Bzz, bzz, bzz. That's what it made me think, like when those cars just kept hitting each other, boom, boom, skrr, boom, boom, like one after the other, just boom.
Right.
I'm like, it was like blowing my mind. I'm like, how are you not seeing this from in front of you?
Yeah, it's black. And I'm like, that ice, black.
It's that black ice, and then when that 18-wheeler.
That was
that scared me when I saw that.
Yeah,
because he was moving. Like I'm like, y'all don't realize why y'all driving so fast on this icy road. You know you can't stop. And that I bet you he lost it. From the way he hit all those people, he probably lost his job. I can understand if he came in sliding slow, trying to stop, but he came in boom.
But that man, I think the people that were driving, I don't know if they were even driving fast, Melvin.
It's just when you hit your brakes.
When you hit that ice, you can't control. You don't have any control.
Well, I understand, but I'm just like what I'm looking at was the rate of speed. Because you had some people who you could tell they couldn't stop, but they came into the frame
kind of
moving at a slower rate.
Mm-hmm.
But then you had some people they was
right,
and then like you heard them when they hit their brakes, like you heard the skrr, bam, bam, and I was like, it's already icy. Why are you driving fast?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I don't understand. Like, I think it's something the state of Texas needs to do, because we know we don't get a lot of snow,
right.
but we do ice up quite a bit, from time to time.
Yeah.
So I think they need to come up with something, some kind of strategy or something to where we can avoid that type of situation. Like, I mean, I don't know, either shut the highway down or I don't know. Something needs to happen so something like that won't happen up. Because besides that one, that was over 100 cars or so. There was a 45 car pileup on 45, I think, in Austin, and on that same highway a few hours later there was like an 18 car pileup, and I'm like, my goodness, this just.
And then I think down there close to Temple and Bruce Eddy, 18-wheeler flipped over.
Right, and so I mean, I think they need to figure out something to maybe I don't know if we have trucks available to where they could go out on the road and ice it down. Maybe if they're able to figure out
melt it down. I mean,
yeah,
like
put the salt down.
That's what I'm gonna say.
They said it was treated before. They had treated that road before.
Okay. But then it probably just sleeted some more.
It made it sleeted over it. Because it happened about 6 a.m. in the morning, what they said, and there was a lot of people on the road at that time. Was a lot of healthcare workers, and so they said there was a lot of healthcare workers involved, with with that accident. But they said they treated it, is what they're saying,
Right, and they need to, with something like that, they need to treat and come back and treat again.
Yeah, there may be certain areas that you have to treat a little bit more than
right. Well, maybe they just need to take cues from these like Chicago, New York that deal with this on a regular basis. What do y'all do?
Yeah, because I've heard
we don't know how to handle it.
People from the north that when they come down here, they say our roads are not really made for those types of conditions. And so I don't know what that means. I'm sure the people that that engineer the roads or make them know what that means. But they say our roads are really not made for a lot of rain and a lot of snow and ice and things like that.
And you know what? I saw something. I saw I'm not sure what city it was in, but it was a certain type of asphalt that was made to absorb water. Like I saw it was something they poured it down on the pavement and they went across it, they flattened it out, and then they took a water truck and I want to say, the water truck, it's like 500 gallons of water or something like that on that truck. And they drove it over the top of that pavement that they had let down, and they just opened up the back of the tank and the water just started coming out like it's just gallons and gallons of water, and it's just being absorbed by that asphalt. The pavement they had, it was just being absorbed, like it was just drinking it, and the water was not. And they went back over the water never puddled, so it was made for flash floods and stuff like that. So maybe they need to come up with a way to change here in Texas, that's just going to cause all more kinds of problems. They already take 40 years to put down regular pavement, and if somebody came with an idea to try to go back over it with something else, that take another 40 years. So but if it will help, stop crashes and stop injuries and save people's lives, and it would be beneficial, So I think we need to come up with some type of strategy for icy conditions. We need to come up with something.
So praying for those families that had to, and those people that are dealing with that and their families.
Right. So y'all, let's move on to the next topic. This time we had just kind of, I guess, some updates on the George Floyd case and what's going on with the ex-cop or officer Chauvin. So, Brent, I know you sent us that article. Did you want to go into that just a little bit? What's going on?
The main thing, the cop was going to plead guilty of third-degree murder. Barr told him not to do that because basically he said he was going to be able to get him off. So that just goes to show you the evilness in our justice system. And this man may not be brought to justice for killing George Floyd.
Yeah, well, let's hope and pray that that's not the case.
Yeah, we just have to wait and see, but hopefully it's not. You're right.
Hopefully that's not the case, but we have seen case after case where these police officers are not held accountable for killing one of us.
I'm not sure what the laws are in other states, but here in the state of Texas, if a city wants to fire an officer, so if the city and the police department has come to the decision to terminate an officer for whatever reason they want to terminate him for, that officer has the ability to get his discipline looked at by a third party, and that third party can make their minds up and come to the decision to reinstate that police officer, and the city, whichever city it is, and the department or the police department has no control over it, and he will be reinstated back. And if he's missed time at work, let's just say he's out. Yeah, let's just say he was out of work for 6 months or whatever, during this time of period. If he's reinstated, they have to pay him for those 6 months that he wasn't working. They have to pay him. And these are the laws and stuff that are made by your state officials and stuff like that. So when they the mayor even said that he was like, he said he felt like that the state and city and local elections are even more important than the big elections, because because the state and local elections are the ones that will affect you within 6 weeks. So basically he's saying those laws that are made can affect you immediately versus where the laws that come from, from the federal area level may take a while, before it trickles down.
Right.
But I mean, when they said that, I was like, you got to be kidding me. So I mean, you mean to tell me this man can flat out, kill somebody, and the department and the city will say, well, we no longer want you to work for us, and we wanted to terminate you. He can just say, well, I'm going to get my case looked at by a third party and let them
what they say, get it appealed.
And get it appealed. And if they overturn it, then there's nothing that the department or the city can do about it.
So that's crazy. I didn't even know that. I'm glad you mentioned it.
A lot of people don't even, because I think everybody was just like, wow. Or if they get fired or whatever from one police department, they can just wait a little while and go to another city. And they don't look at the back files, or they don't look at the record of what this last police officer does. They don't even look at all that.
Yeah, his background don't transfer. So he's just like a new officer.
Right.
They don't look at what, if he raised hell in one area, they don't care about it. It doesn't matter to us because it's not here, basically. You know what I'm saying? So,
but if an ex-felon who has paid their debt to society, when they get out of jail, try to apply for a job, they know that they're not gonna get the job as soon as they ask on the application, have you committed a felony? As soon as they check yes, it's over. Or if they lie, they get the job, they do the background check on it, they find that out. So I mean, it's like a win-lose situation for ex-felons who have paid their debt to society. We're not saying what they did was right, but they went to jail and paid their debt.
Yeah.
And they have the right to come back into society and to have a second chance.
Yeah.
If God Almighty can say, I give you another chance, you need to be held accountable for what you did. But if God Almighty can say, I forgive you, what's wrong with us saying the same thing?
Right.
Yeah. It just sounds like some reform, I guess, is needed in policing. Much like they're trying to do criminal justice reform, which I understand. We need that as well. And we also need a policing department. And I'm not saying that I agree with defunding the police. I know that was going around a lot. And I knew what people meant by it, which policing has crazy amounts of funding just for all kind of things. And really to, when you think about it, to militarize the police, which
Exactly.
funding can go toward other things. So,
Because
um,
Brax, I think we talked about it months
we did
ago.
talk about it on one of
Talked
our
about how
shows.
certain police departments, they have these $1 billion budgets, and they getting all of the militarized stuff,
Hmm.
cannons,
Yeah.
machine guns, and they don't
Yeah.
need all that
You don't
stuff.
need it. Yeah. You're just policing people. Yeah. And I mean, this is not the military that you're in.
All right.
And
Right.
so that type of training really should be looked at and changed.
But
And then,
they need proper training
Right.
on and like what they mentioned, uh like you have the fire department, when they do their training, they're trained on different scenarios and stuff like that. So okay, let's say if XYZ happens, what to do, or if ABC happens, what to do, or if something else happens, what to do. I believe the police need to go through the same training. I think that the city manager, I think she mentioned that too. She was saying that they need training on different situations,
Mm-hmm.
and like, just for example, let's just take for example the George Floyd situation,
mhm.
like that, and countless other situations
Mm-hmm.
that could be handled differently. If somebody just is slow to pull their weapon
Mhm.
and use their brain to de-escalate the situation. Because like somebody has said before, uh, they're able to de-escalate and de-arm white people all the time, but yet uh, people of color or a lot of times
Automatic
laying,
A
threat.
shot.
yeah,
Yeah, a
yeah,
shot. Don't get the benefit of the doubt.
Mhm.
right.
Automatic
They
threat.
laying dead in the street, or in the hospital because they didn't got shot, so it's something that is, to me, I think it's something that should be, it's necessary.
Right.
They proper training, and when I think of defund, I think of reprogram. Basically, is what they need to reprogram their police department to be trained correctly and able to
Mhm.
correctly handle different situations.
Right.
Now, if there's an active shooter, somebody popping off rounds and stuff like that, okay, you know what's going on, and you have to perceive that situation accordingly. But if somebody calls and says, I think somebody has a gun, or I think this, or I think that, or this person looks suspicious, and they really don't know.
Or
Uh,
Meldrick, or some instances where they say my brother or my child is having a mental health crisis and I
right,
can't handle them and I need some help.
right.
Mhm.
They may not even need to send the police over there. They might need to send somebody else. Like, I don't know, send a mental health staff over there.
With a policeman.
Right, have them deal with them. If and I'm sure, like, I don't know what they call them. I think I want to say in some movies they call them orderlies, where they have bigger people who are able to handle those people who are
Oh, okay.
who are mentally challenged. So they're able to restrain them and
Okay.
and get them the help that they need. So I
Yeah.
mean, y'all, they could do something like that. I mean, so y'all got enough tax dollars to where y'all can pay these people to do that. So it ain't like the cities and towns and stuff like that are broke.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I just think proper training is the key, in my opinion. Proper training.
Braxton, while
Yep.
we're getting ready for the next topic, y'all see this shirt I got on?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Uh,
FMF.
our brother and best friend, Justin Houston, he has a clothing line called For My Family. See this mask that I have? Nice mask. I don't go nowhere without putting on this. If I wear a surgical, I wear two masks, and
Right.
I put this on because it's more decorative and it
Mhm.
look good. Let's support our brother. If you go to Facebook and you type in For My Family, you'll see the logo pop up. If you go to formyfamily.com, he has Justin and Brandon, they had a lot of nice items on their website for sale, for
Mhm.
purchase, and it looks good. Whatever you basically looking for, socks, backpacks,
Quality stuff.
t-shirts, yeah, good quality stuff,
Mhm.
good quality material. So he is one of Temple's finest. That's what we call our people from Temple,
Mhm.
Temple's finest. So go on his website, go to Facebook, look him up, follow their page, and let's support our brother Justin and his clothing apparel. Let's make them say, Tommy here figure who.
And well, and two, I mean, so you were kind of going down a list of what he has. So he's got what? He's got t-shirts, backpacks,
backpacks. You see the mask.
You said joggers, right? He's got like
he's got
sweats,
joggers, he's got hoodies,
jackets,
he's got hats. Yeah, he's got a bunch. He's got stuff, for men and women, men, women, kids. He's got all kind of stuff, So I mean, and like I said, if you go to the website, you're able to check out everything he's got, and I think he's actually got a new line coming out as well, where he has a little different logo. Right. That he's talking
about the one with the teddy bear.
You at the bear, yeah. So so that's his new thing he's got going. So man, definitely go check it out. Y'all seen us on here before. When we were supporting him, we got the shirts on. So yeah, we definitely support everybody that's about something.
Right. And it's also not just to do it because it is Black History, but go support a Black business.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Black owned business. Yeah.
Right. Black owned business. Amen.
All right, y'all. So let's move on. The next segment is called "We Are Messing Up the Flow." So I mean, just let's build this up and just what does that mean, Brent? Like we're messing up the flow. What do you want to take?
Okay, remember, I'm gonna need y'all help with this. It's just some things I've been bottling in my mind when, not to saying that you have some white people, they are willing to help be assistants to Black people to help get their messages across and things like that. But then you also have those that see us as messing up their flow, messing up the country. And when they say messing up the country, they think we're taking their country away from them. Right. And it's two clips we're going to play for you. And Mel-Bone, y'all got to help me with this. I want to make sure I'm saying this right. So you see us on TV in big positions. You see us in other big positions throughout the nation. But like I said, we have a Black vice president, but we don't have a Black woman in the Senate anymore. And look at the Democratic side. You got all these people, these Black intellectual people, but they're not over major committees in the Democratic Party. That kind of stuff needs to change. So it's just both Democrat and Republican. So and just dealing with it, period. People always talking about liberal Hollywood, how Democrat Hollywood is. That don't mean the doggone thing would have come to us. It still can be evil.
Right.
So I'm wondering, we're on TV, but are we at executive positions? Do we have those contracts like for and y'all? This is why Black media matters. Y'all need to watch shows like Roland Martin Unfiltered. He talks about this kind of stuff on a regular, and it's making me think we're Black media too. We might be small, but we getting there. So these type of shows need your support on certain things like this, because Roland is not just talking about being on the surface, but behind the scenes, who is getting those type of contracts. You heard us bring up the situation where the Black ad agency got a white company a $4 billion contract from the United States government, from the Army. But then the white company is blocking out the Black ad agency that helped them get the contract. So they are blocking that ad agency from hiring more qualified African-American people to help do the job, to be consultants, to do whatever it is to help run that company. That white company is going to get $400 million a year for the next 10 years. And they are blocking out the company to help them get the contract from the Army. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. So
they're trying to block a message, trying to block people's progression, the old saying, the man trying to hold me down, trying to hold us down.
Yeah.
I need y'all help.
But also, wait, hold on real quick. So now Brent's not talking about every white person, because every white person ain't like what we about to start talking about. So just to set the record straight, everybody's not like that.
Thank you.
There's just a certain group of people that we're referring to when we're talking about these people. And so that's kind of what I wanted to input just there really quick.
Perfect example. when President Barack Obama won in 2008, if every black person voted for him, which he did with 13% of the population, that would not have been enough for him to win.
Right.
So a collective of people from African Americans to white Americans, Asians, Hispanics, and everybody had to come together to get this man to win the election.
Right.
So we're not just saying all us and no us four and no more. No, we want to be a part of the collective. We want to be a part of the final decision making. Don't just use us. You used us. Think about old Hollywood, especially when we do our tribute to Mary Wilson. This lady was the founder of one of the major girl groups of that. If there was no Supremes, you wouldn't see Beyonce and them and Destiny's Children, In Vogue, or Dixie Chicks. Let's just be real. This group was groundbreaking and setting the mold, the foundation for girl groups across our land. They just so happen to be black. And it also dealing with Motown, you think about the historical things Berry Gordy did. This man used the mindset of Ford's assembly line on how to make a star. But he also said, I can't treat these people like cars. They have their own mind and their own flow. And there's a clip we're going to play. And Braxton, which one should I play first? The one
I would play the Clara Huxtable clip.
Okay.
Okay. Just play a clip of it though, and the part that you think is the most important.
Okay. I got it right here. So what this is, still yet the greatest TV sitcom of all time, The Cosby Show. It's an episode of it's season 5, episode 14, and this is a perfect title. Mrs. Huxtable goes to kindergarten, and she's with these men that are talking politics. She was invited to talk politics with these men, and just listen what happens to her when she's invited.
Mason,
It's my turn.
oh, did you want to add something?
Yes, I would like to add here that the Depression was still ravaging the nation when the stock market began to recover. In my opinion, the crash was a precipitating event.
That is the most ridiculous thing I ever heard.
Oh, no, I wouldn't call her opinion ridiculous, a bit naive.
My
perhaps.
opinion is neither naive nor ridiculous. And how the Sam Hill do you expect to have a discussion if all points of view are not taken into consideration?
I believe it's time for a commercial break.
You just took a commercial break.
We're taking another. We'll be right back. Steve! Ian, why did you take a commercial? Well, because I wanted to.
But you're not scheduled to.
Look, I felt things were getting out of control, and I wanted to put a stop to it. Ian is right. We have to have order here.
She was disrupting the flow.
I was trying to become part of the conversation.
But there she goes again. Frankly, Steve, I don't think this new panelist is working out.
Ian, you know the station management is concerned about our low ratings. We're trying to broaden our viewership.
Fine. Then let her speak when we get to the black topics.
Excuse me, the black topics. Is that what I'm here to do? Talk about the black topics?
No, you're also here to speak for women.
Oh, that's nice. I am a woman who is black, but I'm also a human being who is an attorney, a mother of 5, and somewhat knowledgeable about history, which is why I thought I was invited here. But when you look at me, this is all you see in me, a black woman?
Oh, no, absolutely not.
No, we really have to get back to the show.
Oh.
Ian.
Okay. So you heard that. And when she only had 30 seconds left after that, and she had to tell what did the Great Depression mean to the blacks. And you know how Claire is. She's sitting there going like, you want me to break that down in 30 seconds? He said, well, you had 20 seconds now. And she said, misery does not always like company or love company. And that's where they left it at. So that was, yeah, I hope y'all are kind of getting where we're getting at, talking about us messing up the flow. And you heard it in the clip. It was three men, the host, and then you had a person sitting on the side of Claire and the other dude sitting to the left, which is, I think, an example. I think one dude represent liberal, the other dude represent conservative, but they were all 3 white men. And the one on the far right, this just hit me. He's the far right, which was the conservative. He said that she's messing up the flow. And then the far left, the white liberal, he said, I don't think she's naive. No, I don't think she.
No, he said he thinks she's naive. I think she's naive, but
Right.
what else did he say? I heard that part. He said he thinks
he
she's
said
naive.
something in the fact of, I don't think her question is like dumb, but she's naive.
Right.
But isn't that funny? The far right saying she's messing up the flow, but then you got the far left, the white far left saying she's still naive. And you know what? That is kind of how conservatives and liberals think when it comes to black people. Yeah. That just hit me. So that was one, and then we know who Claire Huxtable was. Yes, she was a character on the greatest TV show of all time, The Cosby Show. But what did she represent? She was a smart lawyer, from a very prestigious law firm in New York City, a partner, married to a husband that was a doctor. And I always thought it was funny. Anytime that phone rung at the Huxtables, you had to say Huxtable residence. I always thought that was, I tried that I have, my dad said, we don't do all that, just say hello. But anyway, even with Dr. Huxtable, when he announced who he was, he said, I'm Dr. Huxtable. It's like it's still yet he had to let people know who I am and what I am. I'm not just I don't want to, even if you do have a regular job, it doesn't matter. You still have to you still do that respect that you're supposed to have. But still yet, even with that, Claire and Cliff still had to fight. And you see what Claire just had to go through just to prove who she was. She wasn't just a black woman. She was a very smart black woman. She was a woman of power and dignity and class. And they saw her was just as a woman, but not just as a woman, as a black woman. And that's all they wanted her to speak on, were the topics of black people and women.
And I guess the question really is, are we messing up the flow? And I think in certain areas, certain circles, or certain groups, we are, or maybe they see us as we're messing up the flow. But in actuality, kind of like the way they needed her, they need us, or they need black people, to push their brand, to promote, whatever the drink is, or promote, McDonald's, Sprite. I mean, whatever the company is, they need blacks to do it. But at the same time, we can, be seen as messing up the flow, and so it's I guess you could say
talk about what we tell you to talk about. Don't talk about
or talk when we tell you to talk. Right. When the black topics have come up, now you can talk. Now it's okay. And so I don't know. I mean the way I feel about it is it's things are changing. In the black community, which they should be. We really shouldn't be looked at like that, or ran over or treated any differently than anyone else. We have as much valuable input as other people do. And then we add value as well. So when they bring blacks into their companies and put on these ads and commercials, we add value. It's automatic. You can't deny that. And so, I mean, I guess it's something that needs to be said, that we're not messing up the flow, like some people see it, and things are changing, man. I mean, people are going to have to get over it, man, and just move on.
Right.
But it just, that's why I said that's why we need to see more black executives and coaches in the NFL, and there are hardly any. Why is that? We are 90-some% of the NFL. We are just like South Africa when it comes to the NFL. We are the majority with no power.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right. Some of these institutions, the NFL being one of them, has to change or needs to change. And I mean, things are happening slowly, hopefully it gets to that point. But yeah, a lot of things need to change for sure. So this segment kind of ties into the last segment we're going to go or talk about today. We're going to talk about Mrs. Mary Wilson, one of the founders of the Supremes. I watched a couple of videos to try to learn a little bit more about Mary and just kind of her contribution to the Supremes and to Motown. What did you have for us on that?
Well, just, this is the very last video she put out 3 days before she died.
Yes, this is Black History Month. Yes, indeed, it is. And I am just so thrilled because so much has happened to me in the month of February. I mean, really, not saying me, I mean Supremes, And so we're going to be talking about Supremes, 60th anniversary. And I will be talking a lot about that, mainly because I finally have decided how to work with Universal, and they are going to release new recordings, Mary Wilson recordings. Yes, at last. Thank you, Andy's girl, for helping in that, and Harry too. But anyway, so much is happening.
I mean, that was 3 days before she, just like Cicely Tyson, working until the very end.
Mm-hmm.
She was just talking about new music finally being released of her music with the Supreme, because the main person when you think about the Supreme is who?
Diana Ross.
Yeah. But you also have Florence Ballard and Mary Wilson. They are also the founding members of the Supremes. And I think that should not go unsaid, what this woman contribute to this group. Because after Diana Ross left, the group still had good amount of hits with her gone. And Mary Wilson was right there. Mary Wilson, I think it was the glue that held that group together. Just like Otis Williams of the Temptations is the glue that held that group together. You know that scene, right? That scene in the Temptation movie with David Ruff. Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. Well, if it hadn't been for Otis holding that group together,
wouldn't have been no group.
There wouldn't have been no Temptation. He was the founder of the Temptations.
Right.
And look, which Temptation is the only one left? Otis Williams. And he did an interview with Roland Martin. He said Leon added that. He said that just sounded like something David Ruffin would say. But he said David Ruffin never said that to him, because Otis said David wasn't no fool. so he, because I was just going like, I bet you David Ruffin really did say that about Otis Williams, because he was a background singer. But Otis said the same amount of money he got paid, I got paid. It's split down the middle 5 ways. But going back to Mary Wilson, I mean, we can talk about that because they are all part of the same umbrella of the Motown family. And to see the things that the Supremes broke down, like I said, when you think of Destiny's Child, you can't think of that great group without thinking who came first.
Right.
Supremes. When you think of En Vogue, Dixie Chicks, what are some other groups out there that are SWV, all these girl groups that are out here,
Escape.
Spice Girls, TLC,
702, 808.
Right. Escape, all these girl groups. I was trying to think of some more white groups, but all of them.
Yeah.
They are all, the way that was paid was through the Supreme or through those girl groups of that time. But it seemed like the first ones of any international fame were the Supremes. So Otis Williams said she died, and I think the paramedic, they had to break into her home to get to her. So we don't know the full facts of what happened to Mary Wilson, but it's like her flower was blossoming in even more, and then it withered quickly because of her passing. But the music that they put out, the Supreme put out, it will last forever. One of the main songs is "Stop in the Name of Love." Where did our love go? Someday we'll be together. Love Child. Those are a lot of the 12 straight number 1 hits. And
that's a lot.
That's a lot. That is a lot. And she kept working as a Supreme even after that was all over with, trying to make sure that legacy of the Supreme would not die. So rest in peace, Mary Wilson. I just hate that seem like every week we're coming on here talking about one of our legends that are leaving, but that just goes to show you we still have work to do. Yeah. We can't. We got to continue the work that they continue. We can't let that flower with them.
Thanks again for watching B.M.B. Tell It Like It Is. This is another show with us, guys. We will be back next week with a good show for you, and we may also mention some topics from this week, next week that we'll expound upon. I know for sure next week I want to talk a little bit more about Dr. Frederick K. Price and what he means to the body of Christ and his passing. Remember to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, We are now on Spotify, iTunes. We have our podcast on there as well. So please go there, link up with the podcast, listen to it. Also, don't forget to listen to us on Z Radio Live on Tuesdays at 4 p.m. Mildred, you okay with praying us out?
Let us pray.
All right.
Lord, we thank you for today. We thank you for today's show. Lord, as we always pray, we want our show to be able to reach people. We want our show to be able to give a different perspective and how we feel on different subjects.